All right. Good morning and welcome to day two of our producing and directing workshop. I welcome those of you who are online and those who will be watching, catching a rewatch of this workshop after. So yesterday we did a basic introduction. I did an introduction to the world of producing and directing. Today we're going knee deep into the specifics of how to direct and how to produce. Okay, we're starting with the directing class. We didn't do so much of directing yesterday. We're starting specifically with directing today. Okay, and my hope is that by the time we're done, in a couple of hours' time, we would have a vivid understanding of how to approach the subject of directing a script, meaning directing a film. Meaning, if somebody were to hand you a script, you will know the specifics of what to do to realize the film from the script. All right, let us begin. Uh, okay, so for the record, my name again is Nabola Denle. I'm the Director of Studies here at Lagos Film School. Yeah. So, learning outcomes for the film directing workshop. I sent this to us earlier. Oh, okay, you don't have it. I sent it into the WhatsApp group. I'm sure almost everybody online. I'll forward it to you too. I'll forward it to you. But, huh? To me, okay? So I'm just putting it on the screen for us to follow through. Like, okay, this is what we said we were going to cover. Question is, are we truly going to cover this? So let's go with understand the role of the director, analyze and break down with scripts, create a visual style and tone that aligns with the directors, with the story's themes and emotional beats, learn how to communicate with cast and crew, how to direct actors, how to plan and execute shots, how to work with the DOP, how to plan and list shots, and then how to navigate post-production. Yeah. So let's start with who's a director. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So let's start with who is a director. A film director is a creative leader and a key decision maker in the production of a film. Okay? They are responsible. Just a second. Hello, ma'am. Yes. We just started. No, no, on Zoom, with the same link from yesterday. Ah, ah. Okay, let me resend it just to be on the safe side. Okay, because we just started now. Maybe. All right. Yeah. She holds people accountable. I like that. She's always on the matter. She focus. If she's a businesswoman, she go to make money. She will not let her money slide though. Now so, and that's how life should be now. Ah, okay. So where's the link again? There. But do I even remember handle? I'm not sure I stored that number. Just a minute, please. I want to forward the link to the class to someone who requested for it so that we're all on the same page. Where is she? Okay, there. Let me just forward this to everybody, forwardable. And him too, yes. Okay. All right. I guess we're good to go now. Yes, we're back. No. Yes. Okay. So I was saying that the film director is the leader, the creative leader, and the decision maker when it comes to making a film. They are responsible for shaping the movie's artistic and dramatic aspects. A director's role includes interpreting the script, overseeing the casting process, directing the performances of actors, making creative choices about the camera work, light, sound, set design, editing, etc. Okay. Yesterday I made a note of this. I'm bringing it up again today. The 8 things a director should know how to do. 1, a director should know how to direct the story. He should know how to direct the performance, which is the acting, which is the actors, just in case that's not very clear. He should know how to direct the camera. He should know how to direct sound, how to direct the edit, how to direct production design, which is everything from the art department, props, set design, etc. He should know how to direct relationships because every crew member, every head of department reports to him. So except he can work with relationships. What English am I speaking? What's the meaning of work with relationships? Except he can, what's the English? Effectively work with team members, he would not be able to get the best out of them. Okay, and then he also has to know how to direct ambience. Outside of what's on the notes, 3 things the director does. Okay, I think I teach better when I'm not even reading. God did my side. But the 3 things the director does, let me walk us through it. Number 1 is to visualize. Hello, everybody, are you here? If you are here, please be here. Toyosi, where are you? What are you doing? Oh yeah, I thought I collapsed that table yet. I don't want anybody on that table. We have just one class. One class. Thank you very much. All right. So I said the director does 3 things majorly. The first thing the director does is to visualize. What did I say the first thing the director does is? To visualize. So you get handed a script as a director. Your job is to picture and watch the film in your head. Like you're playing it, just as you're reading it, you're watching the movie in your head, you're playing it back in your head. Okay? So you see the film in your head, you know exactly what it is you plan to do with the film. Yeah? What am I saying? Yeah? Secondly, the director communicates. Let me explain that in English. It sounds simple, but then except you understand what it means intrinsically. Do we remember I said that filmmaking is a collaborative effort, it's a team sport. One individual running out of time out. Okay? It's not what one individual can do. The director will not handle the camera. He will not be the one to do the sound. He will not do production design. He will not edit. He will not come up with costumes. There are different people who handle each of these things. Yet, the director has a film he's watching in his head. Not so. Remember the visualized part of what he does. So the first thing the director does is he's watching a movie in his head. The second thing is he has to find a way to communicate that picture in his head to all of his teammates. Or else they'll be working against each other. I want a black man. She's giving me a fair man. You know, go work now. So he has to find a way. He has visualized his picture, his vision for the film. He has to find a way to communicate that vision to everybody on his team. The degree to which the end result of the film, the final film that is made, and the picture he had in his head originally, how far or close it is what determines how good you are as a director. Oh, but wait, it doesn't mean that the end result cannot, it even will change. There's no way you can create the same image in your head on screen. Our brains are far more complex, magical than what any camera can do. I don't know if you're getting this. Okay? But having said that, as much as you're the captain of the ship, as much as you're the driver, and as much as the vision is yours and you are seeing the film in your head, you should also understand that the reason you brought this DOP is because it's better than you at camera handling. The reason you decided to engage the editor, you might be able to edit, but he's better than you at editing. There's no point engaging a DOP that you, as a director, you are better than. I don't know if I'm making some sense. Okay, so let me put it this way. When you're assembling your team to work with you, your first goal should be to bring on individuals who are way better than you at the task at hand. You started off as a cameraman, you can shoot Vo, but now you're a director and you're about to you should get a camera handler that is way better than you. Or else it's not worth the money you're paying him. Or is he shooting for you for free? Do you get it? Every member of your team should have something specific they contribute to the picture. And because they are better than you, you should allow them bring that extra to the table. Do you understand what it is I'm saying? Everybody has their own uniqueness. So you see what this person is bringing, and like, nah. Some individuals, your idea is what would flow. But with some others, you're like, what this person is bringing is probably better than what I had in mind originally. You should also be humble enough to take suggestions. You get opinions, but you should also be confident and know what you're doing enough to know that it's not every opinion you're supposed to take as a director. Let me rewind. So last week, the interns we have here, they shot a film. And several times I chose to not interfere while they were shooting. And several times I'll go to upstairs, the location where they were shooting. I'm like, do we have a director on this set? You know why? Because there were about 3 people who were giving instructions. I'm like, Uncle, you are the director on this set. Your voice is the final authority. Nobody should talk when you're talking, even if you're mates, even if you're the youngest amongst them. It doesn't mean you've become a dictator, but then again, you are a dictator. You will just temper justice with mercy. Sometimes you hear what this person has to say and consider it. I'm like, this one doesn't make sense. Come on, Pashi, come on. That is your job. And when it makes sense, be humble enough to take that suggestion, incorporate it into what you have, and move forward from there. So there's fuel crisis in the country right now. Who's responsible? Tinubu no. Is it not Tulumbu, or what do they call his name? Tulumbu. Whatever happens in this country, who do we blame? Tulumbu. On his lies the head that wears the crown. You need to understand that whatever decisions you take, the only person who gets the glory or the blame is you. So when people bring suggestions, your job is to look at it. I'm like, okay, this works, or to just understand that this does not work and trash it. You don't have to take every suggestion, and you should also be humble enough to consider suggestions to see if they carry weight enough for you to consider or not. I think I've plugged that enough, yeah? All right, so you visualize, you communicate your idea, okay? And then these 7 things I say a director needs to do, yeah? And you guide the ship safely to the bus stop. That is the job of a director. Because I tried reading it from stuff I wrote, and it wasn't, even what I was reading was not making sense. I know it makes sense in the sense of, but it's not really as expressive and flowing exactly what I would want to say as per what it is to be a director and direct a film. So any questions about that at the moment? What a director does, his responsibilities, the fact that he's the final authority, he can take your suggestion or he can trash it. That is his job. Okay, all right, we're good. Next, I have a checklist here of specific things to do to direct a film. We've spoken in bits and pieces about some of them. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of times when we learn, we don't learn with an outcome in mind. We learn to just know. To be a director is not just about learning money with not just learning to know. It is because you want to be able to direct a film. So I've decided to just put together a checklist that we follow through. Like if you follow through these 31 or 34 steps, there is 34, you should be able to direct a film. Short film, documentary, feature-length film, whatever it is. And we'll get to those details in a minute too. So let's run through it. So step one, read and analyze the script thoroughly. Remember the visualize part? This is where we are. You get given a script. So I'm a producer, I engage you as a director, and I give you this script and I'm like, oh boy, you're directing this film for me. The first thing you want to do is intimate yourself with the script. The first time you're reading it to just get a feel of the story. You read it a second time to get who is who in the story. So, okay, so there's Femi and there's Kunle and okay. You read it a third time to understand relationships. Who is everybody connected to Femi? Who matters to Femi? Who will Femi die for? Who does Femi not send? You read it several times for each read, you form a mental image. And at a point you should be able to direct that film even without a script. Like you can tell everything that goes on in the film from beginning to the end. Okay? Step two, develop a clear vision for the film, including the tone, the style, and the themes. Now, I should have images to show for this. If I don't, I'll check online. Now, this is the tricky part to directing. Okay. I need to mute this thing. Give me a minute. Yes. This number two is the tricky part to directing. Develop a clear vision for the film, including the tone, the style, and the themes. Nigerians, both as audiences and as filmmakers, over the years, our sense of storytelling, filmmaking, and all of that has been bastardized. What I mean by that is this. We've been exposed to too many not so beautiful things that the only picture we have in our head, let me say it in simple English. How do I say this? Every film should have a unique picture signature. Hello? Yes, the word unique is debatable, but let me remove unique. Remove the word unique because there's no uniqueness anywhere. But every film should have its own picture signature. Hold on now. Let me give us an example of what I'm trying to allude to. Just give me a minute. Can I find this? It's not here. Just hold on, everybody who's online. Okay. Why is the cinematography what? Just a minute. Let me find this document. Okay. All right. This is a little like what I'm looking for. I wish it was more though. Are we back?
Ẹ bá mi ṣe receipt sí àkáǹtì.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, yeah. No. We just started. Okay, are we back? All right, thank you for joining us again. Back to.
I'm not taking it. Did you take it? I know.
How do you miss this? Where is it? School never resumed. Shout out to all the parents out there. You know, easy. The shout out to all the parents out there. You know, easy. All right. Can we see my screen from online? Have I? Okay, I've not shared the screen yet. Okay. So I was saying something about what's it called? Every film should have its own. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right, 15 seconds. Let me just run through this again. I talked about what's it called? 8 things a director should know how to do. Are you with us, sir? Okay. This is where we started from. 8 things a director should know how to do. 8 things. I talked about this yesterday. Okay. And then we're doing a checklist of step by step how to direct a film. We just got to number 2. So I'm rewinding just so that I can carry you along. And number 1 is you're supposed to read and analyze the script thoroughly, to visualize the script, to know what the story is about, and then be able to watch the movie in your head. Good. Step 2 is to develop, this is where we are now, develop a clear vision for the film, including the tone, style, and theme. And then my next statement, which I was trying to show us with this image, is that every film should have its own picture signature. Is one problem Nigerian films have. Almost every Nigerian film looks the same. What makes a film different, look different from the other? The lighting, the set design, the costume, the way it is shot, and all of that. But here, we light almost every film the same way. Bounce the light off the roof, use LED pointer light. It's the same way we light, it's the same thing we do every time. So almost every Nigerian film looks the same. It's really why I'm pulling this up. These are different films from different filmmakers, and you notice how different each of these films are. I mean, picture-wise, the quality of the image and what each image looks like. Hello? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry. That's Monday. All right. So this is what we should strive for. It doesn't have to be like exactly like this, but every director should have a basic understanding of picture styles. So what are you supposed to do when you want to do a film? First things first. Like I said, read your script. What vibes do you get? It's a romance film, but it has small touch of horror. I'm just saying. Or it's a romance film, but as you're reading it, you're getting vibes of Matrix or something. Okay? So you have this idea of is either sci-fi, action, horror, etc. Go and watch films in that direction. Look at the ones that resonate with you, that looks like, and if the film looks this way, it will make sense, die. Rome was not, no, that's not the right adage. There's no point reinventing the wheel. So there's nothing you can discover anymore concerning film. Hello, people of God. There is nothing you can discover again concerning film. What can you do? Mix and match. Take from here, take from here, take from here, mix it together with your own creativity, and we will say it is new and unique. But the truth is, it is not new, neither is it unique. We steal. That is what we do as creators. We steal. Like I would say, is there anything you can do with a t-shirt anymore? One designer say he invents new t-shirts. Is it possible? What's a t-shirt if it has round neck? The moment you put button, you know it's not a t-shirt anymore. The moment you put polo, it is not a t-shirt anymore. Am I making some sense here? There's nothing new you can do with a t-shirt. You can change the color, you can change the material, you can change the texture, you can change what you print on it. You can, but it is still a t-shirt. Same with film. There is nothing new you want to do with film. You can innovate, you can change the lighting, neon money, you can change the lighting, you can change the camera, but essentially, you're still learning, picking from something somebody has done before. I said all of that story to say this. When you want to make a film, there's something called a mood board. You're supposed to create a mood board for your film. What is a mood board? Screenshots and clippings from other films, magazine, newspaper, whatever, comic, that you feel like, okay, I want the film to look like this. Yes, that's what we do. You make your film look like something that is already existing. Shoyewa. That's from where to start from. Don't try to be original. That's not what originality means. The originality in your work is the uniqueness you bring to it after you've stolen from so many other sources. That is the originality. It's not stealing. Okay, this is how somebody puts it. If you lift from one source, that is theft. It's called plagiarism. But if you lift from multiple sources, it's research. And you put, what do you call it under when you do projects? The references. Oh, so when you do a research work, you put up a project and whatever, the materials you put, is it your original? Not? No. You research into what others have done, put it together, make meaning of it, add your own. Simple. Same with film. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? All your problems are no say solution. I go. Forgive me online. I'm just catching cruise. All right. So I think we get this bit, yeah? So one, read and analyze the script to have a picture of the film you want to make in your head. Step two, develop a clear vision. Have a mood board. Make your film look like something already existing. So maybe I should just put it in that easy word. Watch a film, like I want my film to look like this, okay? And use that as the template to make your film on, especially when you're just learning. Let me leave it at that. Number three, conduct research to understand the script's context, settings, and characters. One of the things I hate the most in Nigerian films is the moment they show hospital. I don't watch Nigerian films that much, but when I do watch it, what gives me the most headache is how they portray doctors. I'm like, how difficult is it for you to go to a hospital and observe how a doctor carries themselves and behave as such? Especially in Yoruba films. Which doctor behaves like that? So I remember one incident. I hate hospitals, by the way. I ought to be a medical doctor. I can't stand blood. Okay, that was why I didn't study medicine. When I was growing up, my mom used to work at Luth. And she would take me to the hospital, to her workplace. And when I see these people wearing white, flowing gown, they look like angels. And I wanted to be like that angel when I grew up. I'm talking about when I was 2, 3, 5 years old. But when I was much older, I realized that, oh, mom, it's not about angel, Lou. I can't stand the blood. Yeah. But then I grew much older and I grew to actually hate and detest doctors. In case there's anybody who's a doctor here or you have a relative who's a doctor, just forgive me. But I dislike doctors with a passion. Ask me why. These people treat humans as if they are pests, as if they are cockroaches, as if they are insects. Have you seen a doctor relate to an extremely sick person before? They treat them like, Nigerian doctors. I've not, an American doctor has not attended to me before. A British doctor has not attended to me before. So it's only Nigerian doctors that have attended to me. So I'm speaking specifically to our people. Especially government hospitals.
which brings me to the story I was about to tell. So there was, my dad is late now, 2 years ago. Some 3-4 years when this ailment that finally, when it started, well, not when it started, but it got to a head at some point. There was a night he had a crisis. We took him to the hospital last week. And the doctor just, he just came out reluctantly to attend to us at the counter. Like, it was the emergency ward we went. And he was like, does this smoke? Yes, that's what. I'm like, how can you ask one question and determine somebody's fate with one question? No, are you trying to tell me that smoking is the only thing that can lead to? Are you for real? And he essentially just condemned him. And I stood up to him, I was like, show Shireni. You see somebody, you're mad? Security people had to literally restrain me. I'm serious. They came to hold me. Like, somebody is in pain. And you asked one question and you turned back. Meaning, like, now you cause for yourself, now if you die. That was literally what he did. Literally. Are you for real? Anyway, I said all of that to say this. I'm not angry right now. I'm just relieving that you get. But I said that to say this. Nigerian doctors are arrogant, puffy. They know they hold your life in their hands. They know you can't go anywhere else. And that is from where they speak to you, they talk to you. You go to see a doctor, you sit down, he will not even look up. Most doctors don't look up. So what's wrong with you? Are you feeling pains? And then you are still like giving him more like, but when it's not the right prescription. Without their chicken handwriting, they don't write prescription, and he gives you. And he will not even look at you when he gives it to you. I'm like, look at this idiot. Because I used to live in Oshogo. I dislike doctors, though, no be my play. I used to live in Oshogo. Lautech was just a lot of doctors were my friends. We attend the same church, etc. Or we went to the same school. Because I also finished from Lautech. Okay. And I started off with photography. Not started off badly. When I was in Oshogo, we're still online. Okay. So you have doctors come to me to want to shoot their wedding. And you'll be grilling me. What camera are you going to use? How are you going to shoot? Let me see what you have done, blah, blah, blah. You come to me for a service, and you drill me before you give me ordinary common wedding photo. But I come with you with my life. And you treat me like, can you ask a doctor, who have you treated before successfully before you treat me? That's how doctors should be treated. Because you'll be surprised how many people doctors have killed by misdiagnosing, misprescribing, misbehaving. See. So let's come back to here. Now, it's like I said, it's the reason why the moment I see a doctor in a Nigerian film, I know before they even start talking that they will misrepresent doctors. Actors, directors don't do any form of research, to put into proper context how different people, trades, characters are supposed to perform, or rather be characterized on the screen. And it's one of your jobs as a director. Even if it is both your job and the actor's job, the actor ought to have done that research. If they've not, you should have done it on their behalf. Okay, let me say this. Every department in filmmaking should know what they are doing and contributing to your film. You should know it in case they don't. So the cinematographer is supposed to frame a shot a certain way. Your job as a director is to go and check what he's shooting and correct him if he's shooting wrong. You should know enough to tell the DOP that this shot is wrong. Look at this headroom now. There's too much headroom in this shot now. Your job is not to handle the camera. You don't even need to know how to operate it. But you should know when you see a correct image and a faulty image. Do you understand? Same with the boom guy. He just carry boom pole, style like that. Like, Oga, what are you doing? You're supposed to turn the boom, the mic, to who is talking per time. You should have that understanding. Why? The microphone has what we call a pickup range. And the farther it is from a subject, the less it picks. So you want the mic to be as close to the subject as much as possible. So if two people are standing this way, you point the mic towards who is talking. And when she starts talking, you turn the mic to her. That is how to use a boom mic properly. Not that you just put it like that, you just hang it, you just stay there. So if the recorder does not have enough sense, you as the director should know above and beyond and correct him. Your job is oju oba nile, oju oba loko. Like you are constantly monitoring and like, this is not, that's your job. Do we get this? I don't do number 1 to 14 already. All right. They should turn on the agenda. What's happening? Number 4 is, so number 3 is conduct research to understand the script's context, setting, and characters. Number 4, create a director's notebook with notes, visual references, and storyboards. Let's talk about storyboards for a minute. Storyboards are drawings. Now, most Nigerian films don't need storyboards. Most. Why? Because we shoot roughly the same thing in films. Just like we light the same way, we use cameras the same way also, which is put out for tripod, shoot a wide shot, shoot medium shots, and shoot close-ups. Then do any reaction shots or cutaway shots. Now, we don't finish. Like it's a formula. You don't even need to form now the same thing. True of us, is that not what we shoot every time? You don't need a storyboard for that. You don't need any manual for that one. It's just carry camera, put on for tripod, press record. It's the reason why our films don't emotionally connect. There's something camera movement does to the audience. Because the camera is how the audience is watching into your film. So what you do with the camera is the experience the audience would also have. Put the camera static on the tripod, the audience is also like this, right there on the couch. Move the camera and the audience is also, not literally, but inside of their mind, they are actually like this, moving with the film, with the story you're trying to tell. So as much as you can, as you grow in this craft, learn to infuse camera movement into what you do. Start small. It could just be a slider and then graduate. And with time, you will understand intentional camera movement. Because when I say infuse movement, I don't mean just move the camera for movement's sake. Every form of movement has an intention, a reason behind it. Movement must be motivated. You don't just move the camera like they do in some Nigerian films. I saw one film and I felt like if I could get a stone and I'll stone the DOP and the director. Chef Fagoni, that was when Jolly, Track and Jolly became very popular. And there was this, so I'm sure the guy just looked fine. The truth is, when you shoot on a Track and Dolly, it actually looks fine, no doubt. But the language of cinema teaches us that both the type of shot you use, whether a wide shot, medium shot, or close-up, a high angle shot, eye level shot, or a low angle shot, or whether you're doing camera movement, whether a tilt up and down, a pan left or right, a dolly in or dolly out, or a dolly left or dolly right, which is called a tracking shot, any of these or any combination of these that you use means something. There's a point in time when we use. So we were running through a checklist of how to direct a film. You're here for the directing class, yes? We'll talk after, just let's go on with the class. All right, so number 4, where are we? Number 5, collaborate with the writer. Storyboarding, yes, storyboard. I was saying that a storyboard is, one, most Nigerian films don't even need storyboards. How do you know that you need a storyboard? If you're doing something action, science fiction, fantasy adventure, that is not particularly easy to describe, your best bet would be to have a storyboard to communicate it so that everybody is on the same page. You get, if it's, how many more minutes? 10 minutes. If the concept was Femi walks in and him and Tunde are gisting, like you don't need a storyboard for that. Yeah. But if it was a fight sequence where the car tilts, nearly topples, and then the actor something, you know that it's beginning. When I say the car tilts, what part of the car tilts? Does it tilt forward or tilts to the side? Is it one tire that leaves the ground? Is it both tires? Does the actor almost fall out of the car? You know, there's a lot of variables in that wise. The best way to be able to communicate it to your team is to have it drawn panel by panel. Stunts, same with stunts. Like if they're doing an action scene and there's some stunts, you could do a storyboard. It would make it easier to flow with. Yeah. All right, so storyboard, but most Nigerian films don't need storyboards. Okay, even for stunts, most times what they need to do is just rehearse the stunts, especially if there's a stunt coordinator and he knows exactly what it is they want to do. So he choreographs it and they rehearse it until they get it, until they are ready to shoot it. Yes? Okay. From all the scenes from beginning to the end. That would be a nice thing. If you have the funds, that would be a nice thing. But yeah. Yes. All right. So since you want to go there, let me take you there. I've talked about what kind of films needs storyboards. Okay. If you're doing a typical romance, drama, talking head-ish, you don't really need a storyboard. Yes. However, if what you're doing is visual and it's not easy to explain, then you might need a storyboard. Let's start with that. Number two is if you're doing animation, you know that animation is you're creating something out of nothing. For animation, you don't have a choice. You must create storyboards from beginning to the end and take it even further and now do what you call an animatic, which is take the pictures you've drawn and run sound with it so that you can do timing to get the correct time for each scene, how long it will take, etc. So we can actually sit down and watch the animatic, which is just pictures with audio. It's more like a comic, as if you're voicing a comic, so to speak. And how it flows, this person, close up of this person, back to close up of this person, back to when he walks away. You draw him in the first position and the last time you draw an arrow to determine what direction is, stuff like that. So that we can watch the animation with that before doing the animation. And that is what a animatic is for, is a upgraded version of a storyboard. They use it a lot in Marvel films where there's a lot of VFX. It's called pre-visualization, where we do rough animations of what the actors will do in real life, and we simulate it to see whether it will work or not. They will spend a lot of money doing VFX. They will spend probably just 2% of it to do a pre-visualization, a pre-vis. So it's better to spend 2%, find that there's something wrong, adjust it, correct it before you do the actual shoots and all of it, versus you don't shoot and finish before you realize that there's something that is not working. So it is in such instances you need either a storyboard or animatics. But if it is our everyday film, you most likely don't need it. Can you see an example of a storyboard on the screen? This one. Okay. You see that it has an arrow that shows from point A to point B and then to point C what it's doing and this and this. This one is even bigger than that one. Let me find something else. Yeah. Now, I don't necessarily think you need a storyboard for these ones. Am I sharing? Sorry, I'm not sharing the screen. So those who are online will not see the grammar I'm blowing. Can we see it now?
Yeah, you are sharing the screen. You are seeing. Okay.
All right. So this is what a storyboard looks like. Yeah. And then it's panel by panel showing sometimes not just each scene, but each shot in each scene. So a scene might have about 15 drawings to indicate all the shots in that scene. Do we get that? Let me see if I can find YouTube and I can find the Iron Man animatic. I downloaded this some time ago. I didn't know I was going to need it. I think this is what I'm looking for. Can we see the screen from home? Online. If you've seen the film, you should remember this part in Iron Man 3. But anyway, let's continue watching. You see that it's essentially picture drawings that is animated. But even without watching the film, do you know you can literally, it's as if you're watching the film right now. Everything from action to sound. They are not saying the dialogue, but you can read the dialogue. It's as if you're watching it. Now, you can tell if it is going to work or not, even before you attempt to shoot it. These are the things you will need, like a storyboard or an animatic for, but not two people just talking, chilling on the couch, having a conversation. That's not, you don't need a storyboard for that one. Okay, let me see if I can find the origin, this clip, this part inside the film. Yes, it's this one.
Do we need to worry about that?
You remember this from inside the animatic? (1998) was when I did my first like major edit with a VFX shot in it. My 2001, I was part of we wanted to do Nigeria's first animated feature-length film. It was about the time Lagbaja did what was this film that had animation in it? I've forgotten now. Music video. Yeah. It was about that time. Animation was like it was an industry that was looking like it would start up. And I was part of that movement. Some people call me the father of animation in Nigeria. I don't accept the title. I don't. It's too far. I did a little. I pushed some people. Most of the folks I pushed are the ones who are doing animation today. Or almost anybody doing animation today is either I taught the person or I taught the person that taught the person that taught the person. Okay, but that's not even the story. Where I'm going to is this. Nigerians have a crab mentality. We have a individualistic, I want to make them my own. I'm not doing anything for free. Like if it is not money, it's not making sense mentality. However, VFX needs crowd. And hardly anybody can foot the bill for VFX in this country. So if VFX is going to work, it'll have to be people who are not driven by money, but choose to come together all the same and work towards realization of something, and then it attracts other people, and that is what gets people to gravitate towards the industry. The first set of people will probably not make a lot of money. If Segun Odegbami was alive, and that's Odegbami, Rashidi Ekini, how much did he make in his own time? Even Okocha, how much did they make in their own time? They made some money, but they were the ones that paved the way for the Osimhen and co today. Do you understand? The arrowhead, the one that's Toman Lano, how do you say that in English? The one that creates the path. Ha. I know they find that amazing. So I was in Lautech, 1998.
I'm seeing my name. I'm seeing my name on the screen there. Have I won any award?
Yes, award for Mr. Paul of Nigeria. Okay. Yeah, Pathfinder or Trailblazer. God bless you. That's the word I'm looking for. Trailblazer or Pathfinder. Yes, so Lautech, 1998. Back in Lautech, we had just one hall, major hall in Lautech back then. And I saw one or two people show films. We'll go to Ibadan to go and rent projector, bring you to Ogbomoso to come and show film. And then I wanted to do something different. And I showed two films for the price of one. Matrix and Buga was the first film I showed back then. Was it 98 or 99? That's 99, not 98. The first film I showed bombed. The second time I tried showing the film, there was accidents on the way. So the person went to bring projector. That one was a success. The hall was full. People don't pay money. I was like, yes. But the guy will go bring projector. Did not come until 9. Everybody had collected their money and gone back. The third time I tried showing a film, it was always 2 films for the price of 1. That was what brought people. And then we would rent a bus that would bring, because Outtake is not residential, bring you to school and return you back to school. So I wasted a lot of money. I became a fugitive because now money I did borrow to show film. And I didn't make money from the first one, borrowed more money to do the second one, didn't make money from the second, borrowed money a third time that if I hammer, it will settle all the bills. Where I'm going to is after 3 failures, I went to go and sit down somewhere. Fast forward 6 months or 1 year after, some guy came and started showing 2 films for the price of 1. It was a blockbuster. People had gotten used to the idea on somebody else's ticket. Whether you make money or you don't make money, it doesn't matter. But you blazed the trail. Others that are following and then go enjoy them. And it happens a lot in this life. Okay, so the animation industry in Nigeria, animation/VFX, the problem is, who was I telling about VFX? Somebody asked about the VFX class. It wasn't yesterday, maybe it was 2 days ago. But before then, and I was explaining to the person the challenge of VFX. That if I was going to do a VFX class, I've tried it 3 times. Only maybe 1 or 2 people subscribed, and then I perished the idea. But if you're going to do VFX, proper VFX, it starts from, of course, understanding the basics of animation. Okay, you need to know a 3D software of some sort. For example, you're doing a digital double. Yeah, whether it's Maya, whether it's Blender, you need to know a 3D software. The example is, I'd open my hands and it shows fire. If you're going to do that effect and make it look realistic, step number 1, you're going to have to do a 3D model of my hand. Step number 2, you're going to do a rotoscoping and cut out my hand frame by frame, 25 frames for 1 second. So if it's a 10-second VFX shot, how many frames is in 1 second? 25. If it's 10 seconds, how many is that? 750. If you know how to use Photoshop, if you trace my hand, that's 1. You trace my hand, that's 2. You do it 750 times. And then you've now created a 3D hand. Then you go to something like Nuke to create the fire, 3D fire. You will set the 3D hand on fire, remove the 3D hand so that the fire is burning around an invisible hand. You will now key that in After Effects or Nuke on my own hand, but you know it will now fit perfectly because you modeled a hand like mine, a 3D software, set that hand on fire, remove the hand, bring only the flame. So the flame will sit perfectly on my hand. Then you now have to make that light interact with my hand, and the illumination of that illuminate with my face and other surroundings. All of that is just to make my hand show fire. So if you watch a movie and you see the end credits and you see about 400 names for VFX, up to 400 for VFX. Now you know the reason why there are so many, and you know what they have to do to realize VFX shots. And they are still working on the VFX. It takes a lot of time. Do you understand what I mean? Now, by 200 years, Nigeria might not get there. We have the capacity, but because we are money driven, and this thing takes time, young people today don't want to do anything that will take time before it shows money. They want that money. Anything that is not going to, I beg. So it's not as if we don't have the capacity. Everything we need to be able to do VFX is here. I was showing you the outline for an animation course. That's what we're trying to do again. My younger brother, he was a speaker at an animation conference in the US. So he came back. FCMB is sponsoring. So we want to do like grassroots, like animation awareness at the grassroots level. So we're going to schools. They'll bring 10 kids from different schools. I will teach them the basics of animation, such that if they grow up with that capacity, by the time they become adults, it would have sensitized them enough to maybe want to go into that industry. It's only if a bank like FCMB is funding something like that innovation that it can yield any result. But an individual, you say you want to, and be you don't. So it's why I said 300, 400 years from now, I don't think we'll get there. The tech industry is one that is succeeding now. Why? Because there are tech hubs everywhere. Almost every bank has established a hub for tech and all of it. Why? Because they benefit from it. Technology, building digital products, but how do they benefit from animation? Animation does not benefit anybody directly. It's the reason why nobody would invest in it directly. But we're digressing. Let's come back to the directing class. Although this is also part of directing in some way, form, or fashion. Okay, but let's come back to the crux of our class. Welcome back, online folks. Where were we? We were where we were. That's good. Let's get back to the checklist. So I think we've exhausted the storyboard and animatic. Yeah. So let's start it again. I talked about the checklist of how to direct a film. Number one, read and analyze the script thoroughly, such that you can visualize this film you want to shoot in your head. Develop a clear vision. Every picture should have its own particular picture signature. So I said, watch films, which is number three, conduct research. Watch films and find a film that you want your film to look like. There's no point reinventing the wheel. There's no point trying to make your film look unique. It will just look like a unique mess. You're not looking for a unique mess. You're looking for a good looking that looks like something else. That's a better option. Number four, create a director's notebook with visual references, just like number three. And four is collaborate with writers to finalize the script, making necessary adjustments. Let's talk about this for a second. Let's scroll up. One of the 8 things the director should know how to do is what? How to direct the story. A director should have a working understanding of story. What is a story? How does a story work and all of that? Such that if they give you a script, you can tell if it is making sense or not. So let's talk about story in 5 minutes. What is a story? Because if I say a director should know how to direct a story and I don't teach you what a story is, I'm not doing justice. Shebi, good. Can I find that slide? A story is about someone who's trying to do something and something else stands in his way, an obstacle. I should find the slide to make it make more sense. Where is it? Where is it? All right, here we go. So a story is about someone, your main character, who's trying to do something. Yeah, let me say it with examples. So, Chidi, a poor village guy, wants to marry Amaka. Yes? An equally poor village girl. But Amaka's mom does not want her daughter to marry a poor guy. So far, so good, yeah? Then you have Emeka, a city boy. With this is Janglova Jeep. Who wants to marry from the village? So he comes to the village to pick a wife. Amaka's mom plays into his hands. So Amaka is the one he has jotted on that he wants to marry. Do we get this? All right, so let's run through it. You have our main guy, someone, Chidi, who's trying to do something. What is Chidi trying to do? Marry his heartthrob, Amaka. But someone or something else stands in his way of achieving his goal. Who is standing in his way of achieving his goal? Amaka's mom and Emeka. They are the obstacles standing in his way of achieving his goal. Yeah? This is what gives rise to conflict. Conflict is when an obstacle stands in the way of your character achieving his goal. Do we get that bit? So you have your main character, you have his goal, you have an obstacle that gives us conflict. Anytime your story lacks these four things, let's start from there. There's more. But the moment your film lacks these four things, you don't have a complete story on your hands. So let me tell you another story. This past Sunday, I went to the mall. Yeah. So I got to the mall, I went to the shops, went round, and then I saw this pair of black suede shoes. Like I really, really loved and admired these shoes. Yeah. And then I looked at it. I took my time to look at it. And then I went home. That's the end of the story. And then I went home. That's the end of my story. Very beautiful story, isn't it? Award-winning story. The
You shouldn't
girl,
have bothered to tell the story because there's no story there.
there's no story there. Why did you say so?
Why did you bother telling us? You looked at it, that's all.
Okay.
You didn't achieve anything.
Hold on, no, Madam Toby Benson. If you say there is no story there, prove it to me. Why do you say there's no story there?
Oh, all right. So, you were the main character, praise God, and then you saw this shoe that you really admired.
Yeah.
You made no move to acquire it, none whatsoever. You simply admired it and went home. That's the half story. There is no problem to be solved.
There's
There was
no
no action to solve the problem.
Okay. Okay. Can you use this example I just gave us, the slide on the screen? Can you use it to explain the story, how it is not working? Meaning, your story is about someone who's trying to do something, has a goal. So actually, okay, let me just cut to the chase. The main problem with this story is that there's no goal. What is the goal in the story? What was my intention?
None.
None. There was no goal. And the moment
None.
there is no goal, like the Bible, is it the Bible that says this one?
When the purpose of a thing is not known.
Abuse is inevitable. Okay? Interpretation.
Bam.
You don't stone a tree that does not have fruit. I mean, with the intention of, maybe when you stone a tree, it is to get a fruit to fall down. But what if the tree has no fruit? Is there any purpose to stone it? In this case, the stone is the obstacle. So your character cannot even have an obstacle if there is no goal. If there's no obstacle, there's no conflict. If there's no conflict, there's no story.
I want to say something, please.
There are some films that you can tell, sorry, sir. There's some films you can tell without a clear obstacle or goal, but it is not the major. That would take a well-seasoned writer to be able to do something like that. That is not your everyday story.
And that is most likely, most of the time, documentary stories or real life stories.
Okay, so let me put it this way. Madam, I still want to hear you. Hold on a minute. So these YouTube films they do actually has this. Problem is, I've not landed with this though. I talked about 4 things your film should have. A clear character, as in we should know who the character, your characters, there are different kinds of characters, but you want to have a round, dynamic character, not a static and flat character. We teach this in the script writing class. But let me just over it, yeah? Number 2 is your character should have a goal, a clear-cut goal. It's what is the problem with most films. It's either the character has too many goals or the main goal he has is not so obvious, so well defined. And the moment the goal is not on point, then the obstacle would also not, and then the conflict would also be watery. Or in some films, they have too many conflicts. It's running after getting so many, we don't know exactly which the problem is. Which brings me to the other 3 items you should put on the list: stakes and consequences with urgency and timing. Meaning there is a conflict, there's an obstacle, and your actor is trying to overcome the obstacle. In some films, he doesn't overcome it and nothing happens. There's no consequence for his failing. The moment there is no consequence for failing, the audience don't have an attachment to the character. But the moment you know that if he fails at this, something catastrophic will happen, you are with him like, he must not, because you are invested in that character. Number 1, we've given you enough reason to be invested in the character. 2, he has a goal, and there'll be consequences if he does not fulfill the goal. Now we want to follow that guy to the end of the journey. So most films don't have all of this in it. And the last one is urgency or time. When we have all of this, and then there's a time factor, you must finish it within so and so time. If he doesn't, so not only are there consequences, but there's also a time limit to him crossing the hurdle to not suffer the consequences. Now you've put your audience in a place where they're like, and then they enjoy the experience. So I said all of this, why? So that you, as a director, you take up a script and you're trying to identify these elements in the story. If it's not there, you are like, I'm not sure this will work. You get? And your job is not to rewrite it. Your job is to pass it back to the writer and give notes. So why didn't he come back? Why did this? You ask questions, and so that the writer can see where, and then he can make amendments and rewrite, touch up, and send the script back to you. That way you have a better script on your hands. Samuel, none of my business. Continue. Continue. Carry on. So do we get the basic idea of story? Madam, yes, I almost forgot. I wanted to hear you.
Don't worry, I forgot what I wanted to say. I will remember later. I'll type it on the chat.
All right. So that's that with story.
Sorry, I have a question.
The checklist, the
So I have a question.
checklist. Yes, please.
Yeah, the question I wanted to ask, when it comes to storytelling or trying to incorporate the 4 aspects of a story, is there any sequential order of following it, or at the end of your story, all of these elements should be found in your story?
Okay, I
or
get
must
that.
it be followed sequentially?
No, it doesn't have to be sequential. It doesn't have to be sequential. But the more of these elements you have in your story, the better it is.
Okay.
And it doesn't even have to be all of them. The most important ones are the first 4. A well-defined character, a well-defined goal. We should know the obstacle, and the all conflict becomes automatic. Even if those are the only 4 things in the script, fine. Adding stakes and urgency elevates it. Okay, but the first 4 are the most important to have. What's happening with my... Okay. So collaborate with the writer to finalize the script. We understand these bits now, yeah? And then meet with the producer to discuss budget, schedule, and production constraints. We talked about script breakdown yesterday, okay? And I said it's in the office of the producer and the director and the assistants to draw up the budget and break down the script first, and then identify the budget from there, okay? So the director doesn't do this on his own, neither does the producer do it on his own. They get a lot of feedback before they come up with budget and a shooting schedule. Next is select and hire the key crew members. Now, this bit can be a bit tricky, but it's supposed to be straightforward. Let me explain. As a producer, one of the first people you hire is or should be the director, maybe after the scriptwriter. But you're not really hiring a scriptwriter. You most times just buy the script off the scriptwriter and you move on. So your first hire should be the director who takes the script and runs with it. Good. Whose job is it to hire the DOP, the producer or the director? In some cases, you would have a producer who would insist on hiring the technical members to work with the director. That individual is setting up his film to fail because it's the director who's supposed to select his team, people who is comfortable working with to realize the vision of the film. As a producer, if you force some other team members down the throat of your director, you are inviting trouble. The director might make it work, or it just might not work. Sure you get. So select and hire key crew members, including the director of photography, production designer, and assistant director, job of the director. Conduct casting sessions and select the actors. All right, whose job? Okay, number 7. Number 6, to meet the producer to discuss budget schedule. Okay, all right. So the story requires, as in the story has a car explosion scene. The producer, when he bought it, like, will find way do mago shoot am because we don't have a budget for it. Director sees this and he loves it. We have to do the explosion. And producer is like, Oga, they come. Let's have this conversation. Because who's going to put down the money? Producer. Who wants it in it? Director. Do you understand? So on a lot of things, both producer and director will need to sit down and find a middle ground for what will make the film or make the cut and what would not. The producer needs to justify to the director the reason why he can't have 20 cars. Oga, I can only pay for 3. The question is, what can we do with 3 cars? And the director is like, okay, I know what. For example, there's going to be a graduation ceremony here today. About 15, 18, 20 people will be doing graduation. I don't know how many graduation gowns they have booked to rent. But if there are not enough graduation gowns, what do you think we will do? When they are taking pictures to collect certificates, what do you say we'll do? They will do photocopy order. Okay, but in some instances, they might borrow and take pictures. Individual feature. Voila. So we just ready. But you know that this is also something similar where there are budget constraints and the director has to forego some things he wish he has. The producer has to stretch a little and produce some things for the director that he wasn't planning to originally. Why? Because they sit down and have this conversation. The director might justify the reason why you see that thing you say you don't want to do. You must do it. It's 11:30. Do we have the list now? Do we know exactly who, what, where, and how? For the gown. Well, yeah, let's do 10. Let's do 10. I'll call the woman now. We'll go on the break by 12, so we'll do all of those arrangements. Okay, sorry for the distraction. All right, so what was I saying again? So after they have that conversation, they settle and they move on. All right. I've done number 7. Yeah. Number 8, conduct casting sessions and select the actors. Whose job is it to cast actors for a film? The director or the producer? So you see, if this was a university, if this was a university and we were marking based on theory, he will get A. But in real life, It's the executive producer that will even cast him in some cases. Yes. A stake. If he has exactly, it will be the producer. Director no dey get, stop it. Who is director? Director no get mouth for this thing. Director no get mouth. He should. Don't. I'm not saying he's not supposed to. It is his job. Officially, it is the job of the director working with a casting director that is supposed to handle the cast. It is said. So, you know, this training is about how it should be without, you know, and still making reference to how it is. Okay, it's not enough to, all right, it's not enough to just know how it can be theoretically without grounding ourselves in what obtains now. Okay, how is it supposed to be? Director, casting director, they do a casting session and audition. Producer can be there, etc., but it's primarily the job of the casting director and the director. Okay, but for monetary purposes, most times if I'm doing a film as a producer, now face I want to take sell my film. Before I even bring director on, I know the actor where I want to use. That's the norm. As it's not even a director's thing. Before I even bring on director, everything done set. Most times the director is just a figurehead who is supposed to come and just shout, action! And cut! Guy, calm down. You get? So that's what we have. Moving on. Work with costume, hair, makeup, departments, design, character looks. So for a film like an epic like Jagun Jagun, or any of these other epics we've seen, who do you think comes up with the costumes that the characters wear? The director or the producer? Is the owner of the film. The owner of the film is the one that comes up with. Yes, Nigerian setup. I used Jagun Jagun as an example. Oh, okay. So if we were to use Game of Thrones, for example, like I said, the only reason why you want to hire someone is because the person is better than you at that craft, e.g., a costumier. So when you engage somebody for costume and wardrobe and costume, who should outfit the actors? Director or the person engaged to handle wardrobe? Is the costumier. Is his job. But it doesn't work outside of the director. So he makes sketches or he does some designs, comes to show it to the director. Director and producer looks at it, they okay it, and then it goes to make copies for all the other songbe to wear, etc. Do you get it? That's the back and forth that's supposed to happen. No department head operates individually. You will still need to get the consent, or is it the assent of the director, and sometimes with, not even sometimes, and the producer, because the director say it's okay, producer say it's too expensive. Can that happen? Yes. Is it the reason why, while the director is assenting to it, the producer must also like, okay, it fits within our budget. And it's the reason why most times it's the producer that actually picks these things. Do we get it now? Moving on. Number 10, collaborate with the director of photography to plan shots, camera setups, and lighting design. I think I flogged this enough yesterday. The DOP should know this more than the director, but the director should know what he wants and be able to tell the DOP exactly what he wants. For example, so this scene, I want the camera to do a 360. As it's falling, the camera follows him to do a 360. Now, mouth, it will take drive the vehicle. It's the DOP that has to now execute it. But he knows what he wants visually. A director should be an image specialist. Watch films, archive the things you like in film, store it, screenshot it, save it, write it somewhere. What phone is ringing? But it's not my own child. Do you understand? Such that when time comes for you to use it in your film, you can show the DOP a reference. I want a shot like this. Oh, okay, he knows how to achieve it. You know what you want. His job is to know how to achieve it. That's the relationship between the director and the director of photography. So how to light it, his headache. not your headache as a director. His headache. If he's not going to be able to do it, why did you hire him? So if he fails at his job, it's your failure. You are the one who did not make sure you get a DOP that can deliver for you. Do we get it? All right. Number 11, work with the production designer to design, to plan the sets, the locations, and the props. We understand this, yeah? Okay. So it's a teenage horror film. I'm shooting one very soon. It's a teenage horror film. You get the school to use and the chairs and all of that. But this scene happens just after the horror thing just came, killed some of the kids. Some of them are injured. Some of them are run helter skelter, etc. This is so. The scene is when the attack is over and they are coming back to the class. What should the classroom be at this place? Should it look clean, spick and span, everything arranged, properly arranged? Or should it be chairs, tables, tumbled, blood, hand, everything littered everywhere? Do you get it? Who turns a clean classroom to that horrible classroom? The set designer. Do we get this now? The set designer. On a small budget production, the production designer is the set designer. On a big budget production, the production designer sketches, plans, draws. This is what it's going to look like. Oh yeah, effect it. So you get carpenter. So production design includes carpentry, welding, painting, everything like craft, handiwork to build stuff. Okay, yeah. As a contractor, you don't have to be the one to build. True or false? You have hands. And on a small production, you have experience of everything and you know exactly how to make it. That's the thing. Your question answered, yeah? All right. So that's production design. Attend location scouts to finalize filming sites. One of the problems I have with Nigeria and film. Hey, so they are shooting scene 14. The next scene is scene 32. Yeah. It is after they are shooting scene 14. They will not tell PM. That's in 32. It's office. We are going to find office that we will use. It's every day. It's not like it happens. That is the norm. It's the norm. How can you go ahead to start a film, to shoot a film, without having locked down all the locations for your film? How? How? Weeks ahead of time, even. That they will now start looking for bar. Yes, Neil. What's that? Locations. We're talking about locations. So, both in the US and in Nigeria, across board, you would first of all find a physical, practical location. It is if that is not available or it is not practical enough that you go to a sound stage or a set, a warehouse that is built to make look like a place and shoot there. For example, Tinsel was shot on a sound stage. It was at LTV. They took up a warehouse-ish place in LTV and built the set inside of the warehouse so that they could hang lights from above without using tripods. You get, you know, the camera constantly moves and stuff. So that aids. But if you use a practical house, meaning a already built house, it becomes more difficult to rig it with lights and other stuff. Okay? So there are times when that is the way to go, a warehouse, a built set, and there are times when a practical location is the best way to go. It's finding the balance. But the problem with Nigerian films is we don't even consider built sets. Can't afford it, or we don't have enough sense. See, it's not supposed to be expensive. Photographers do it on a regular. Music video producers do it on a regular. They will go and rent, what's it called, a space. Photographers, for example, person will set up studio. You no plan to shoot any pictures there. But all the gadgets, all the lighting setup you need is there. So you, as a photographer, go to rent a studio session, take your customer there, go and shoot there. So you don't need to own your own photography studio before you take beautiful, excellent pictures. There's nothing stopping us from replicating the same in the movie industry, where they are built offices and they are built rooms, etc. Like you can rearrange it to so that it doesn't look the same every time. It's a hall, somebody has built all of that. So you can move the bed, move the windows, because they are built on plywood, etc. It's a Nigerian thinking. You know, our problem in Nigeria is simple. This is how I was taught. This is what they told me. And we rarely think outside of that box. Sure.
I think Kulia is doing something like that for epic movies somewhere in the Southwest.
Yeah, well,
then somebody saw something about charter too. We are beginning to have such created Hollywood kind of spaces in the Southwest, but for epic movies.
Yeah, that's exactly what we are alluding to, that they do it primarily for epic movies. I'm saying there's nothing stopping us from doing it for contemporary films also. If it's what costs, not that if it costs for it. Okay, so here's the truth. You rent a short length for a film and you're paying 150 or 250K per day for the short length for the film. What if there was a sound stage where you can pay 100 or 150K and there are several furniture, like it's an issue of you specify what furniture you want, you specify how you want it arranged, and they make it work for you. You said? No, we're not saying the same thing. We're not saying the same thing. On one hand, shortlets, and of course, you should have gone to recce is what we call it, to do recce, yeah, the place, and be sure it fits. Sure, I'm saying we could do the same for what they do for epic, like that. Somebody builds a set and has a set of furniture. It's not just one furniture. And it will be about the same amount you used to rent, what's it called? A shortlet that you'd use to rent this, but with the advantage of lighting is already rigged, like it's set up for film, sound. We are saying the same thing. I just didn't call it a film village. What I'm saying is we ought to have such investments. Yes, I'm saying he's not getting it. We're saying the same thing then. I'm saying we should start investing in film villages. Okay. No, DCA. Okay, in that way. Okay. Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah. Yeah. Sure, I get that. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Easy. I get that. What if I told you that it can be easy if we want it to be easy? What makes it not easy is because it is not common. And when something is just one or two, it will be expensive. But the moment, for example, if you want to do a Batman fan film, do we know what a fan film is? A fan film is you do like a Batman film, but it's not by Warner Bros. It's not by DC Comics. It's just fans of, I love Batman, and then I do a Batman film. You know, that means I'd have to get the complete costume. In this country, where you want to get costume from? Do you know you can enter any shop in the US and buy a Batman costume? Because it is available. Here is a special, now only for specialty store you fit get that kind of thing, or maybe order it from abroad. But the moment we start doing, like we say, this is what we want to do, now there will be more of it and it will drive down the costs. So, for example, even the stairs you're saying, there will be ready-built stock stairs that they can swap out. Do you understand? These things are not difficult. But because our mindset is, now like this, we do them, and we continue to do them, is the reason why we're not thinking beyond that spot. That's you. Yeah. Yes, you were not. Were you yesterday's class? No. Oh. Yeah. So I'm sorry about that.
It is not entirely because of the way mindset, or rather what they have inculcated in us from the early days in the film industry. I want to say that the successes we are recording in this industry, the film industry, it has a result of individual, effort. All this boils down to the leadership in the entire country. We need sponsor in this industry. As a matter of fact, a lot of persons are still not aware what the film industry has actually brought, to the country. Like what we are doing here now is an awareness. But how many persons are aware of what we are doing? Understand? So we need people to be involved in this whole thing. Like, so there are people out there who are passionate about the film industry, but they don't actually, the platform is not there. Understand? So things need to be happening. We need sponsor in the industry. I mean, all of these things, you said you went to the US, you see all of any of the consumer everything. They didn't just get there one day. They didn't get there one day. People came into the industry and invested in the industry. Both our state government, the federal government, individual that has money, we need to let them know, putting their money, they will not run at loss.
Well, so this conversation, it passed this place. I told you I attended the conference, LifeHack, some 2 weeks ago, and you had Bank of Industry in attendance, Sterling Bank, they are creative, the guys who sponsor and all. And of course, this issue always comes up. And I thought like this before, but when I heard from people who finance, I saw their own side of the story also, and they are not particularly wrong. And it made it very clear that hardly do you find people who take loans to make films and the film is profitable. It's not a common thing. It's not a common thing. Why is that?
No, okay, now let me explain. Wait. Now, there's a formal chief justice lady. I think she's formal. I think it was the first chief justice. I was listening to her last week. She went for an event. She was saying something. When she came to the system was corrupt. Now, there are people that they have their cases. Please, I don't want to digress, but this is very important. So people that they have their cases, but because somebody had paid money, I don't want this case to be judged. So the clerks, not the judge, all those people that clean up, handle file, they will call them and give them like 200,000 naira. They will then take that file, hide it where nobody will find the file. So that case will not come up in the next 5 years. So the people that are doing this are the small ones. So what they do is all these big people, they will call them 200, that file. There's a case file, please don't bring it up. So now that thing has tried for like 5 years. When the woman came into the system, she now see that this is not right. She wanted to change the system.
They were calling her and tell her, woman, if you don't leave that place, you're dying the next day, threatening her life, everything. She went and get counsel from another person. He said, stand your ground. She now sacked all the people that are working that she sacked everybody. She recruit new people, and after 3 months, 6 months, the place was organized, and then everybody adjust to that her mindset. Because people were thinking that without this thing, we no future. Without this mago, we no future. It's only a mindset that is doing the other. So, this woman is the come to stop our. But when the woman came and changed the system, the point she made that she understood that Nigerians can do anything if you lead them that way. That was what she said. That if you bring the new mindset, the Nigerian will follow the mindset. So now you see that the challenge we are having is not funding. Are you getting it? But let me see. I know some banks that give money to all these are big producers like what is his name? All those old producers. They give them money. Like, you understand me? They give them like all those guys like 500 million naira, and they didn't get 10 million pounds. I don't know the game I saying. So many people have done it in years that they will come and tell them, give them this film, this and that. They will give the money. These guys will use that money to take their girlfriend to buy everything. Without say, this film no make
The two of you are right. So number one, mindset. Number two, leadership. The picture you painted now, though it was a mindset thing, but it took leadership to drive it. So you're both right, but you're speaking from two different angles. You understand? True, if the government created an enabling environment, film will thrive more than it is right now. But just like every other sphere of life in this country, it's not just film. If it was only film, now we would have something to say, but it is across board. Almost everybody is their own local government chairman. You provide your water, your power, and it's the same thing we do in film. Do we get it? And well, the film industry can't have leadership per se. Sadly, there can be an overarching body to control all of the film industry. It's not possible. What the best we can have is guilds, and guilds have leaderships. Fine. But anything other, but the guilds, they are not functioning. They are not in the sense of. My stand still is that the guilds are not doing what they're supposed to do. Is the reason why the industry is the way the industry is. I'll give you an example. What's the guild in the US called again? So let me speak for actors, for example. If you're an actor and you're registered to the guild, there's a minimum amount. Oh, it's 12. I'm coming. There's a minimum amount you can be paid. You can't be paid lower than a certain amount. They have day rates, etc. So the moment you join the guild, you know your rates. Nobody can price you below your rates. You could choose to do a favor for someone. That's a different thing. But the moment I'm doing a film and I'm going through the guild to get actors, to get directors, to get producers, I must pay that rate. Do you understand? So now you're asking me to come join a guild. But how are you protecting my interest? The only thing you're doing is you're collecting annual dues. To what end? For what purpose? How much do scriptwriters collect in this country? Most scriptwriters are still in the 50,000 naira range, plus or minus, slightly higher, slightly lower. For 80 to 90% of scriptwriters, they fall in that category. You might hear of somebody who collected 500, 2 million, but they are the exception, fringes, not the main, what's it called, of scriptwriters. Do you get it? Who is speaking for them? Nobody. And they have a scriptwriting guild. Recently, before LifeHack, we were invited to Indonesian embassy for one film soiree or something. I met this guy, Paul Obaze, and then he dragged me to meet the current, what's it called, of the Producers Guild for us to join. And I actually want to, such that every graduate from Lagos Film School automatically just gets registered in those guilds. Okay. We were supposed to have a meeting, but my schedule did not allow. So I Kukuma called and he said he would introduce us to other guilds too. So I researched, found Scriptwriters Guild, I gave them a call, and it wasn't even the call. We spoke, the conversation went quite well. But I told them, she said they register, they take up once in 3 months, and they'll pay a due, and then they'll write a test, they'll do a screening, so to speak. I'm like, my students do not do screening. Instead, I'll give you what our curriculum is. If our curriculum satisfies the screening you wanted to do originally, then that should give our students an automatic pass. If you agree, I'll get 50 people to come and register. Because we've graduated more than 50 scriptwriters in Lagos Film School. Okay, but that's not the problem. And then I spoke with somebody else took a producing, the last producing and directing class. She took our scriptwriting class during COVID. She attended the producing and directing class in May or June. She's a member. And then she was now like, what's the membership for? She has been in membership since 1844. What has it done for her? It was then I realized that carry 50 people, it still doesn't change anything. You'll be better off starting a guild-like and enter a private thing now where people, if they come, they know they can get great scripts and you can peg how much your scriptwriters collect, doing what the guild should do. Entrepreneurship. Film and censors, film corporation. That's their job, to be a corporation. Please, let's move on. Time don't go. Me and my people were supposed to go on the paper, but let's do 12:30. Like I said, we have graduation to do. We've not planned it all. God will help us. So, location scouting, we talked about this. Conduct rehearsals with actors. We rarely do this, but your film would be the better off for it if your actors do a basic measure of rehearsals. But it's not practical. Most actors, that day that she come and show up on your set, she has first go to Ikorodu to go and shoot in Ikorodu. She's coming from Ikorodu to your set to come, and if you are sparking too much, you will leave your set, go to another set. Is that the person you want to sit down and do rehearsal with? Which rehearsal? For where? Now there she go collect scripts. So what actors do, when I say this to acting trainees about their faves, these they are loved actors. See, now editor, now they make actor look like say they make sense. So most Nigerian actors don't make sense and don't go like baby. Because what they do is just script reading. They just read the lines and just read dialogue for you. They don't actually act. If you see true acting, you will know acting when you see it. Have you seen an Indian film and it makes you want to cry before? No, really, I'm asking. It is not a rhetorical question. Who here has seen, I don't mean Z World, not Z, what's this one? Is it Z? I don't mean Z World. Z World is fake Indian film. That one is just TV series. If you watch a correct Indian film, like we used to watch in the, Mad, Tufan, you will cry your eyes out. Why? Because they acting. Let's leave it till directing actors. Let me not jump. Okay, but then you ought to conduct rehearsals. Number 14, hold a production meeting with crew members. Where is it? Hold a production meeting with crew members to align on the vision and logistics. We've talked about this. This is what I will say. When should you do a production meeting? In the light of how the industry is, production meeting should be the first thing you do on the first day of set. I'm being practical now, I'm not speaking Hollywood. Here in Nollywood, DOP know they see scripts until day one of shoot. True or false? Everybody, now when you show up for location, you go collect scripts. That's the way it is. Fine. Vis-a-vis budget, number of days on set, these are the things that determines this. But as a director, you can take a 10, a 15 30 minutes, 1 hour, sit down with your crew and do a production meeting before the shoot starts. It ought to have been probably even weeks or days before Keto Losoko, before the day of the shoot. But worst case scenario, when you guys sit down and say you want to shoot, you should do a production meeting. Okay, so what's a production meeting about and what do we do at production meetings? It is where you, as the director, share your vision with your team members. It is where you get the DOP to understand the what's the word I'm looking for? But you understand it. So intimate the DOP with what is in your heart. Okay? Is where you communicate, but then most times it will be too late. For example, you have something specific for costume for the characters. I said something yesterday, anti-costume was not here. Uncle Neon, I heard you too, you're doing costuming. What are you doing? Script writing, here or at school? Oh, here, but at school is costuming you're doing. Okay. Anti-costuming. Costume, especially for stage, is supposed to be character defining. Not just defined by the character, but character defining. Let me explain. On stage, there are 7 people. We can't see their faces clearly. So we can't tell who is Femi, who is Akpan, who is Shade, who is Shegun. One way to be able to differentiate them easily is in the costumes they wear. So if you quote and unquote color code what they wear, or give them a specific kind of costume, different, long and short is make the costume shade different, such that we can easily use the costumes to tell them apart. That's what I mean by character defining. Not just that it's defined by the character, that's true, but it should also be character defining. And you can do that in film also. But how do you do that as a director when the first time you are meeting actor is on set? Actor don't bring clothes come already now. By the way, what do we do with producers now? How do you get costumes for your actors? They have costume houses that you employ. You send them the script ahead of time. Mm. Yeah. Division, each department picks its own. Yeah. Yeah. Good. All right. But who gets the costumes? The costumer will go and get the clothes, rent them, Shibi. Yes. So on the other hand, while that is the best case scenario, there's a second case scenario. You tell the actors what to bring, and you pay them for, instead of pay, they bring their stuff. But the idea is, so this is where I'm coming from. We all know that's what obtains in the industry, where you get your actors to bring their costumes. My question is, how suitable, or how are you sure that what they will bring will be suitable? That's the job of the costume and wardrobe. So she, whoever the costume and wardrobe person is, should have gone through the script, identified the costumes your actors should wear, and communicate it to the actors prior to. So I'm still bringing my clothes, but I know which of my clothes to bring. Shay, we get that? Moving on. 15, review and approve final shooting schedule with the assistant director and producer. We've established that the assistant director is the one who does the scheduling, scene breakdown and scheduling. 16, oversee the preparation of the set design. Okay, ensuring all departments are ready for filming. I explained to us how all of this plays out. The location manager goes to get the location, hands over to the production manager. The production manager engages the production designer, set designer, props, everybody who is going to do stuff on the set. They build the set or design the set, arrange the set, whatever the English is, and then he hands over to the assistant director who makes sure that all the actors who should be in that scene are on set. When it's ready, they now call on the director, we're ready to shoot. That's how that plays out. But I should add something here. Anybody who does not have a role in a scene should not be in that scene, should not be on set. Remember ambience, setting up the place such that your actors can give their best performance. Imagine it's a kissing scene. Imagine it takes a bit of undressing. She won't be fully undressed, but you know, let's say this scene is they're dating. Is her first time at his place. And then they start making out. And then when he wants to start undressing her, she stops him and says, not on the first date. Can we picture that? We are directors. Hello. Can we picture that picture I just painted now? Up until the extent of where she's undressed to before she changes her mind and says, I'm not going through with this on the first date. Good. But she's a shy person. Yes? You know, she's not going to be fully unclothed, but there's a measure of remove clothes reach a certain extent before it stops. Yeah? And in that scene, director day, sound, light, AD, GOP, PA, script supervisor, and then about 4 PAs, we don't get business that day. And then one guy will not be toaster, will be actor, but he doesn't have a role in the scene into a day, like in one shadow. Do you think that lady will be comfortable enough to give a stellar performance in that scenario? Most likely not. Most times, you don't need more than 2-3 people on set for some scenes.
But some bully directors or director bullies will say, and that's what makes you an actor, a good actor, or a good actress. Should not be shy. Should not just do the work. Just get it done.
That person is a quack director. Extremely, extremely quack. Okay, like I said yesterday, one of the things the director should do is create an atmosphere, an ambience for your actors to be able to give a performance. And actors can be like children sometimes. Have you tried to get a child to do something that child does not want to do before? Do you know how irritating it can be sometimes, even your own pikin? I'm like, you don't show me really now. Actors can be that way sometimes. So what do? First of all, take a deep breath. Or else, next, find ways to relate with that. Like, if you need to, all right, time out. Okay, everybody take a break. Do you need something to drink? Do you know you've started making her feel at home now? Do you need a drink? Should I tell them to bring something for you? And she's like, no. Maybe we should do this tomorrow. And she'll be like, no, let's do it now. When she is now the one saying, no, let's do you know you've gotten her to cooperate versus show sharing? I will stone you. About it do. Do you get it? Yeah. All right. So
like every other actors. That is his own nature. And like Indian film hardly kisses. All those Indians, they hardly kiss. But you can't turn it to the Westerners.
Okay.
The Americans, the Canadians,
so I didn't want to speak. I didn't want to speak to this subject. Hold on. I didn't want to speak to it before. I was stylishly trying to avoid it. But it's actually simple. There's a reason why they don't kiss in American films, or rather, why they kiss in American films and they don't kiss in Indian films. Indian films used to be worse than American films. Indian films were not always like this. In the 40s and 50s, hey, Jesus, see kissing, see punching inside film back in the day. Yes, so They came up with a cultural awareness. It became a culture, just like they clamped down in Kannywood. I mean, in the North, the film industry in the North, you know, there are some, you can't, all of the kissing and cook is not acceptable there. It's the same thing they do in India. And then they did it for so long that after a while, it has become an unspoken rule. You can kiss, but nobody would even bother to kiss again. The people have gotten so used to not seeing it that if you now do it, it doesn't vibe. It seems off now. In the US, however, there's a reason why they do it. There's an agenda that the West is pushing. The agenda is to break the family unit, the home. Like I said, I was trying to avoid speaking to this before, but the goal of the West is to break homes. And the easiest way is brainwashing through the media. Make sex, casual sex, and intimacy common, like pure water. So when it's like anybody and everybody can indulge in it. There's so much sex on American TV, yet, what's it called when the man cheats? Infidelity is frowned upon. Like you can easily break your marriage based on infidelity. But they are showing you nyash, kissing, boobs, constantly. How can you be bombarded with so much of that and you will not find means of expression? I'm going to close. I would relog back in. Time is up. Please join us back immediately after. Thank you, as usual. He who pays the piper, dictates the tune. Check. There is no Netflix film that does not have nudity in it now. Unnecessary nudity. I think it's part of the criteria they give them before you can bring film. The West is constantly trying to sell its agenda to who will buy. And Africa is their next, what's it called? Port of call. Filmmaker will make sense, fine. But there are a lot of filmmakers who don't make sense. You need to get to Twitter. I saw there was a girl that was murdered recently, and some beautiful feminists have turned it to a men versus women thing. Yeah. All men are monsters, blah, blah, blah. And a certain lady, the stuff she was reposting, I'm like, this is nonsense. But I chose to not say anything. And then I just went to her own wall and she posted the film she just did. Like, okay, so this person has a platform. She's an actress, or maybe she's a writer. If she has these crazy views, what do you think? Don't you think she would express the same crazy views in the films she's part of? And it's called mass media for a reason. And mass is how it indoctrinates people. All right, let's move forward. 12:20. We have 10 more minutes and then we'll go on the break. Okay, moving on. 18, work on sets. I think we've done this here. Ensuring, where is it? 17, work closely with the DP to achieve the desired shots. Guide actors' performances, providing notes and adjustments as needed. Yes, if it's will I did. Guide actors' performances. I mentioned yesterday that a director is essentially an acting coach. A lot of times your actor will not give you what you want. You will have to coach the actor to get to that space. Okay? Then let's talk about directing actors a little. As a director, you need to take acting classes, or at least understudy to have an idea of the thinking process of an actor. I'm speaking as if we're in Hollywood. I tend to sometimes forget that we're in Nollywood, where actors don't really act. So even if you as a director are not directing, the two of you will kill. Actors are not acting and director will not sabi direct. When they jam, that they will be party, and that's what we have in the industry today. But when you see a good director and an actor shows up, that actor will know that there's a high level of deficiency in their acting. They will know it's apparent. Same with if a good actor shows up on set and a director who does not know his onions is there, his level of incompetence would also be obvious. Okay? All right, so let's start from here. You've read this script. Don't let me go too far. Don't let me go there. Let me come to here. I wanted to speak Hollywoodish. It will just take our time. It will take our time and we will not get much results. But as it concerns directing our people, this is the formula I think we should use. We all agree that most actors are grossly unprepared for your own film. They show up on set, they see the script for the first time when they are on set, and what they do is essentially just, Femi, where are you coming from? Without any meaning, intention to it. They are just essentially feigning the facial expression. Even they don't know whether the facial expression is what should fly with the lines that they are saying. If they had sat down to read the scripts beforehand, they probably would know. For example, picture this. Yeah. This girl has failed. Our lecturer has failed us several times, and it's a prerequisite course. He wants to sleep with her. She doesn't want to. But this is her final semester. If she fails this semester, she'll be rusticated from school. Her mom, Oniyo, is GoFundMe that they used to send her to school. Yeah? Now she has a choice. Sleep with lecturer to finally scale through, or stick her ground and get rusticated from school and lose it all. Nothing to go back home to. Are we on the same page? Do you know where this lady is in her mind now? She now decides to, you know what? Shebi is just my body. I'll just lie down there, do what you want to do, and let me go. On her way to the lecturer's place, or rather, while she's yet there, she gets a call, goes to the bathroom to take the call. Her mom has passed. She's been giving this lecturer story from day one. So if she comes and says this one, lecturer will still assume that's a story they give me. So she has to go through with it. Yes? What state of mind do you think she is when they start having sex? She's enjoying it, Shebi. Do you understand? She can't. Do you know that if you give this script to a typical Nigerian actor who has not had time to read through the script, she's on scene 21, and God will catch all of us. Scene 21 is the first scene we're shooting. She does not know what comes before this scene. She does not know that her mom just passed. All she knows is that she and lecturer, they are doing So she comes to this. Is that what she's supposed to do? Do you understand? On set, we are saying the same thing. We're saying the same thing. She gets it on set.
Sorry, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, because what you are saying is just a very serious issue and a problem that needs to be addressed. Now, as a director, how do you handle this? How do you go about it?
Yeah, that's what I was about to answer.
How would you? Okay.
Just give me a minute.
So, okay.
All right. So I just painted the scenario. Yeah. What should you do as the director? If we all agree that now like this, most actors will be, what should you do? Carry the script and do their work for them. How do I mean? In front of every script, every scene, write the frame of mind the actor is supposed to be as a side note beside that thing. Femi, angry, just lost his mom. How many scripts? For this, how many scenes? All of it. Oh. See, hold on. Shebi is scriptwriter that wrote the script. Shebi, you as the director, you read the script. How many times did you read through? Several times too. If you want, you know that there's a limitation and you want to overcome the limitation. Your thinking will not be, so I now have to do this for everybody. Do it so that you will get the results you want. If the film fucks up, who do we blame? If it is fine, who do we So who should do the work if you know the actors will not do it? Do you understand? So for each scene, just write a note to the actor to give them a brief of where they are coming from, where they should be in their mind, and an idea of, see, the actors will love you. They carry scripts. This is the line, and this is how I'm supposed to play the line. Finish. And they will deliver a beautiful stuff for you. You've done half of the work, 89% of the work for them. Win-win.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
sir. I think even beyond the director, doing all of this, the producer on his own should ensure that, hey, this thing I'm paying you for it, and you must make sure you read your script, because it's not funny.
Now it's going to work. Now it's going to work.
It's not funny.
Now it's going to work. See, okay, so let me give you a bit of backstory. The challenge is this. Actors cannot, I said this in the acting class, the money you pay actor is not enough for them, can never be enough for them. You can't pay them enough. Producers know, actors know. So actors, they are like hustlers. They can collect like 4 or 5 jobs at the same time. When they come to your set, they are just leaving one set and they left that place to come to your own. You probably will just be reading the script on the way. Even if you speak all the grammar that you know you should have, except you don't want that person in your film. It's the sad reality of what we have. So I am saying that if that ugliness is on the table, how do we navigate this quagmire? Okay, it's not, I know that my solution is still not like the best, but when you start as a director, get mouth. Yeah, but you should work yourself up to a place where when you put your feet down, that this is how this is going to run, producers and actors will listen. But there's a place where you don't have that command. And while you're building your portfolio to that place, you would have to run with whatever is available. Like a Jade Oshiberu or what's this other lady? The one that did Gang of Lagos. Kemi Ade, is it Kemi Adetiba?
Yeah, Kemi Adetiba.
Kemi Adetiba, and such people.
Yes. That has to teach Tony Tones how to talk like Shola Shoba. Locked her up in a room.
Even I read RMD's what's it called, when he talks about how this girl frustrated him on set. RMD, he said he wanted to cry. She frustrated him. She has that platform now. It's she running the show. No matter how big you are as a name, you are on my set, and we don't leave until I say we leave. You that you are directing your first film, you want to command RMD like that, from where to where? Do you understand? Okay, while you're growing your portfolio, your focus is on the results. You should do everything and anything required to get at least sensible output. And the more you do that, the more we respect you, the more your profile rises, the more you can now start dictating. Do you understand? So I would not want anybody to be like, me, I'll now be. Yes, you will for starters. And then there comes a time when you now have the brags, the mouth, the platform to say, this is not how this is going to play. Do we get this? All right. So 19 is, and then we'll stop at 20. 19, make creative decisions on sets, including blocking, camera movement, and pacing. Yeah, this is still directing the actors and taking decisions. And number 20, review dailies, which is the rushes. Yes, I should say this. As a director, at the end of each day, sit down with the DOP and preview everything that was shot. Hello, people of God. Sit down with the director and say, oh yeah, play it. No, I'm not watching. Connect it to the TV. Connect it to the screen. No, don't watch it on their small screen. No. Connect it to the screen. Be like this. It's 2 hours. Sit down. Watch it. Make sure sound is on point. The shots were framed right. And you should also have been checking it even while they're shooting. Sure. You should be behind the camera. But even after, There's nothing worse that can happen to you than you shoot a most important shot and you get to the studio to start editing. You no get audio. No, it's not just it's missing. You no get it was there, you saw it, but you no get sound. Do you want to call back everybody to come and re-record that scene?
Please, something is covering the write-up. I want to take a note on it.
Okay, okay. All right. Did you get it? Ensure that you vet everything that was shot. Review it. Be satisfied. Okay. Or yeah, go sleep. If the DOP can't stay, his assistant or one of his boys should be the one playing it. But either way, check and be satisfied that what we set out to shoot is what we shot. We are good. You are tired. Be sleeping, be dozing, but watch it. Do we get this? Let's take a break at this junction. Yeah, let's take a 10-15 minutes break. We'll be back after we'll continue the class. This is 12:35. Let's resume at 1. No, not 1. Quarter to 1. Because if I say 1, we won't start until 1:30. So let's resume quarter to 1 so that by 1, worst case scenario, we can start. Are we good? Online guys. Let's resume by quarter to 1, 10 minutes to 1 thereabouts. Okay?
All right.
Okay, yes, please. Yes,
All
boss.
right.